Okay.
We're live! Finally!
All right. So we finally figured out something that's a new thing from YouTube, this new process of live streaming on YouTube. So what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about reptiles to everybody. And it seems strange, but there's a lot of people that constantly have answer or questions for reptiles, and we're the guys with answers. Usually, sometimes those answers can be harsh, sometimes not. Hopefully, they're what you want to hear, but that doesn't always happen. So, without much further ado, let me start turning this around and introducing people, so they can see. There's a Corona.
That's mine. I'm coming for it. I want my Corona. Howdy, YouTube.
Hey everyone, Scaly Dave here.
This all have seats that can be seen. It's Matt from Olympus Reptiles. You've seen me advertise this. Apologize we're late. A few technical difficulties. We're going to get right on it, and we're going to have a hell of a good time. Who else wants to say hi?
This is Colin from Classy Herbs.
Hammer Guy Kurt, get your butt up here. Say hi. Quit being shy.
How's it going, guys? Finally got everything going.
Don't mind the 5-year-old.
Ryan from Ryan's Exotics.
You can't see you. Turn your head off. Come on now. Let's have a little fun here. There you go.
All right.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about a few different topics. We're just going to have a seat here and spend some time with you. We're going to have different animals running in and out. Everybody can get in here where we can be seen. I think Dave had the first topic of the day. What was that, Dave?
You know, I was just going to talk about Partha Genesis. And, you know, if you guys want to call in about this, if you have any opinions about Partha Genesis or would like to know more about it, you can call in at 785-317-3344. That's Manhattan Reptile World's phone number. Just call in with your question, and we'll make sure it gets answered live here on the video streaming. Partha Genesis it exists in several different taxon of reptiles. You know, it's found in geckos. There's several lizards. Now we have pythons that we suspect Partha Genesis in. So it's just a form of survival. You know, it's kind of like fire and ice. You know, Partha Genesis produces diploid offspring that are clones of each other, whereas normal breeding produces from two different adult animals, produces haploid.
Take Mad while I hold it. Sorry to interrupt. He's trying to get me bit. Thanks, Vince.
I'm pretty good at getting myself bit.
I would rather it be yourself.
I think they suspect, actually, in reticulated pythons, they suspect some parthenogenesis actually occurring too. And non-parthogenic reproduction produces haploid offspring, which is, you have more diversity within a single clutch of offspring, whereas if it's produced parthogenically, it's not diverse at all. So your microevolution can't actually occur on the parthogenic level very well. Whereas, you know...
Hey, Dave,
yeah.
One quick thing, as we're getting into all this, we're throwing around a lot of big terms like parthogenesis.
That's what people can
call
in for.
But a lot of people may not know what these terms mean. What the hell is parthogenesis?
I think I've been explaining that the whole time. It's when
Cloning yourself.
Yeah, it's when a species can actually be born and able to reproduce without actually breeding. So they will form offspring that are exact clones of the parent, you know, in whatever environments that support that, it's beneficial because you don't have females competing with males for food. And the offspring don't have to compete with males for food. So it's a way to actually spread species really quick in a supporting environment. It isn't a very good way to evolve. So that's just kind of the subject matter there.
Well, what I was going to say on it is that it varies greatly from species to species. So some people, you know, they just assume that if there's a lizard that it might, and it has a history of parthenogenesis, that they can just keep females around and that they're going to do that. And some species do it like, you know, clockwork, and we in the industry predict, you know, everybody, there's not a time you don't go to a reptile show or whatever and see somebody just selling excess mourning geckos. But at the same time, some of your animals that have histories or instances of Partha Genesis really only do them under extreme conditions where there's drought conditions and it's just females and there's no males coming around whatsoever. And then they go into a parthogenic mode. But and I think that there's some examples of that with Teiids.
Yeah, there's a we have the prairie race runner up here. I believe it's Nematophorus sexlineatus. There's a species down southwest, I believe, that is completely parthogenic. So it's not just found in geckos. It's found in something as complex as a Teiid. And there also, people think they're found in monitor lizards as well. I think there was a Komodo dragon that had parthogenic offspring.
Down in the Indonesian islands, that's like classic example of Partha Genesis. Like
if one animal gets trapped on the island by itself, it's got to colonize that island, and so it might resort to parthegenesis. Whereas, like we as mammals struggle with that. We don't.
I saw a great cartoon.
If it was prominent in mammals, Jesus would just be totally explained. So
I saw a great cartoon that had two Amish lizards and their Amish daughter lizard.
Because Amish lizards exist.
And she was pregnant, and she said, "I swear it's Parthenogenesis."
Yeah.
So this is like the reptile version of them actually going and effing themselves. So they're basically knocking themselves up.
Kind of.
And it's a clone. So you get an exact DNA copy.
They don't normally do that, but it's just like when a female gets blown to an island by herself, she has no other way to make babies, and she needs to populate the island because it's suitable. That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's a good way to spread.
Well, you can read one situation with ball python in captivity that was wild caught, living in captivity for 7 years, had a viable flesh.
But
they don't know if it was retained sperm.
They do retain sperm.
Yeah.
But snakes can stick
right,
sperm.
but they don't know if that instance was retained sperm
Yeah.
or not, because 7 years is outside the norm for retained sperm.
I think the record's like 10 years for retained.
In my biology class, we talked about there's a cottonhead that they have at K-State that they had hatched out there. It's a female. They raised it up indoors. Never once came in contact with another snake. It just this past winter it laid a clutch of eggs.
Well, they don't lay eggs, but
it
had a clutch of babies.
Maybe there was a student getting funky in there.
Well, I don't know. They just kind of concluded that it had to be Partha Genesis because it never came in contact with another snake.
I had a really interesting case come into the shop this last month. Somebody brought in a speckled desert king snake that they had caught, and what was interesting was that when they went to feed it, it was egg bound, and they had had it for over close to 10 years, 7 years, completely egg bound. Now they're not a normal egg, self-fertilizing or anything like that. That's not something you normally see. And when it was egg bound, so what I did is I manually extracted the eggs. I massaged out the eggs out of the fallopian tubes. But part of that,
I believe he used his mouth in that process.
Definitely a mouth fallopian tube removal.
What was fascinating is that even though the eggs were infertile, but they were fully formed as if they were fertile. They weren't slugs.
Here, thank you.
And
we got a call. Hold on, we got a call. This is our first ever call. You should be on speaker there. Hello, you're with the Reptile Guys.
Hey, here's Bobby Jefferson down here in South Georgia. I was at this Naked Dancing Club a little bit ago. Getting some chicken wings for lunch. And this
Wait a minute.
Dancing lady.
Naked Dancing Club for lunch?
Yeah, that's chicken wings you can get, man.
I'm sure you were there for the wings. Go ahead there, Bobby Joe.
So anyways, a while back I'd heard that glitter was bad for snakes. And this, the lady was up there dancing all naked, and snake was just glittering all over, going places it shouldn't be going.
yeah,
And got glitter all over it. I was kind
well,
of curious if that's harmful to them.
well, that's a good question. I get that question at least 2-3 times a week here at the shop.
Yeah, I get glitter on my snake once in a while, but
Glitter on your snake makes it sparkle.
So long as it ain't going in the snake, so long as the snake ain't licking it up or nothing off the stripper, the snake should be all right with it.
No, Bobby Joe, why were you worried about that snake? Did you have anything to worry about?
I just love reptiles. I really love snakes. I just kind of curious what would happen.
Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't get bit or anything crazy like that from it, and we're worried about, it being sick.
Did you text that fella in Indonesia or wherever?
Indonesia?
Where the guy that was overseas that we were doing?
No, I didn't. This is not the guy overseas.
No, I know.
This
That's
is
Bobby Joe.
This is Bobby Joe.
But what about the guy from the overseas?
What are you talking about? Oh, that we were on? Yes, I just told him you were on.
Okay.
Now, what was that about Indonesia?
Well, I'm not just saying from wherever.
Yeah, he's off topic there, Bobby Joe. So how'd your day at the strip club go other than snakes?
He's not talking about your wife or anything. It's all right.
Oh, it's pretty good. Get away from the wife, get some chicken wings. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Why didn't you invite us? Vince likes to go to those kind of places. He loves chicken wings.
Yeah, but I only have luck down in Oklahoma, not Georgia.
Oklahoma. There's more teeth in Oklahoma, right? I just probably offended everybody in Georgia.
No, believe it or not,
It's called Dixie D's.
They what?
Place is called Dixie D's. If Vince ever gets himself down here, I'll take him.
Take him to Dixie D's. There you go. I think there's 2 D's in Dixie D's.
Well, they got that anti-meth government money down there. It gives them strippers in Oklahoma free dental care for the meth replacement.
Here's what we've come up with, Bobby Joe. Be careful with the meth strippers, but the glitter snake should be fine. Just piece of advice: if you deal with a snake at that kind of club with glitter, take a shower before your wife gets home. You don't want her realizing where you were, and things should be just fine.
And don't leave the condom on.
That's something good as
All right.
We appreciate the call. That was our first live caller on the show. That was awesome. You gotta love those good Southern guys.
Why don't we bring this alligator in here?
We do have an alligator.
And let's maybe explain to the public why maybe this is not a good impulse buy.
Because this right here, guys, this is an American alligator.
Alligator Mississippians. This thing's found in about, 10 southern states?
Yeah.
And you can hear him hiss a little bit a second ago. See his mouth is cracked. And this is a young gator. This thing is going to grow extremely fast to an extremely large size. In about a year, you're going to be dealing with about how big?
About 4 feet.
4 foot.
4 foot, and you're looking about another
About
foot
5.
per year. So they can get up to up around 16 to 18 feet.
And this thing right now is already big enough to put a hurting on you on a good bite. And when they're 16 feet, 1, where are you going to keep it? 2, what are you going to do with it? And a lot of cities have them outlawed for good reason at that size, because people just let them go because they can't take care of them. They also...
It's cruel to the animal and not safe for people.
Extremely. They're also never going to be your cuddle buddy, okay? This is one of the smartest animals there are for reptiles. Crocodilians are extremely intelligent. And alligators can actually be trained with a lot of work. I've heard of them learning their name. I've even heard of one learning to roll over, but I've never seen that personally. But I have seen them come to their name when called and get used to people. But that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. And you may think you have that time, but you probably don't. As you can see, this guy here doesn't much like me. And no, I'm not squeezing his neck. I'm just holding the head so he can't come back on me. If I gave him a chance, he would. You can see the jaws open.
Well, interesting fact about these guys. Alligators pretty much almost went extinct in the United States. And due to a popular industry, like with the skin trade and alligator handbags, whatever, these things actually became popular. So, if you want to save a species, develop a market for it. The alligators farms were, all the craze, and they actually established well over 1 million in population in the wild off these alligator farms, and now they're reestablished in the United States as one of our herpetofauna. So,
this alligator brings up a good subject, and part of that is the general cultural perception about reptiles as pets. So a lot of people are preloaded with ideas about standard reptiles that they know about their pets. So you'll hear people ask about iguanas. You'll hear people ask about boa constrictors. And that's because for a long period of time, these were the things that were easily accessible. They were mail order, and they were
farmed.
And they were mass produced or mass gathered and imported into the United States. So there are these cultural attachments to them. This applies with turtles. We have the regulations against small freshwater swimming turtles. there was a whole cultural concept and standard that brought people to the concept of owning these things. And so people just have it in their mind. They're like, oh, maybe I'll get a baby alligator. Or, oh, maybe I'll get an iguana. That'll be cool. But they don't really know that there are other options. And so it's the responsibility, frankly, of places like this, Reptile World, where somebody comes through the door to be like, no, you need to come over here and you need to consider these other options.
Let's get this Tegu in here as
I was
well.
gonna say, like, if you want a better option, like if you really like big lizards, you know, and you're really dead set on getting a big lizard, then I think the Tegu is definitely a much better option than an alligator.
This is almost full grown. This is a red Tegu.
It's a big boy.
I think they're still Tupanamis teguixon, aren't they? Or are they a different
Yeah, they're
species?
Now, the thing with tegus is that they do require a commitment.
What's that?
And they're not what I'd call a first-time reptile pet.
No.
But they are a very good reptile pet.
Yeah. They're very smart.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaking out on me now, but
they
can be really calm. They can be. They make really good pets.
He just doesn't like the attention right now.
Yeah, there's too much going on around him. But yeah, they make really good pets. And this is as big as they get, pretty much.
So they're Tupanamis rufensis, the red tegus. So they have a different speciation. I think they're Argentine and Paraguayan, aren't they?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't want to get on top, just one. Okay. Yeah, and it's funny, you know, this is just a general thing. This might even be a wives' tale. You know, I'd really like to talk to some people that have researched it more thoroughly. But it does seem that there are different intelligences or adaptabilities to captivity with tegus over a regional basis.
Tegus Teiids are kind of your sister taxon to your monitor lizards over.
Yeah,
well, actually, they're a little more like a lacerdid or a skink, but you know that people consider them their sister taxon to Branids because of their intelligence.
Their intelligence and their status as a large carnivorous lizard. They sort of filled that.
Well, they're not just carnivorous; they're omnivorous, which that differentiates them from monitors. I mean, you can hand feed them bananas. You know, they're crazy. Super intelligent though. And they're pretty diverse. I mean, some of your Teiids down there. I mean, yeah, you have your tegus, but you also have your caiman lizards, which specialize in eating snails. They're essentially just a super specialized.
Some of your more colorful ones and attractive ones that are Teiids are your amoebas.
Yeah, your jungle runners.
Yeah, colors with those.
Hey, Ryan, bring that big old bull snake back here. Ryan.
So this is Ty. Say hi, Ty. Ty is a store pet.
He's a Russian Blue American Pit Bull Terrier.
Yeah. And so typically, unfortunately, he came to us because people had to surrender him. They were moving to Tennessee, which unfortunately has a lot of anti-pit bull legislation.
The bull snake, that's what we need.
And that's kind of just stupid, frankly.
We got a native up here in Kansas, and it's found in every county in Kansas. It's the only snake that's found in every county. This serpent gets up to 8 feet long. Vince, you had a bull snake when you were a kid, didn't you?
Yes, I had a large female bull snake that just came up short of 8 feet. And they're an amazing rodent specialist.
This is Ptophis melaleucus or it might be different. But they're an interesting large colubrid found through most of the United States. They go by different names: gopher snakes, bull snakes, pine snakes. They've got like a keeled scale. They're very diverse. You know, they can climb. They can root under the ground.
Well, and this is a good example of another one of those animals where we're just now discovering their high potential for morphology. There's a lot of people. Is it Sandhill or?
This is Stillwater Red, is what this is right here.
No, but who's the fellow that's producing a lot of morphs?
Shade Tree Exotics.
Shade Tree Exotics.
Yeah,
he's doing a great job.
Jeremy's got all sorts of stuff. People should look him up.
a great variety of morphology with Ptophis. And the thing about them is, I've always fallen in love with them. They're a total bluffer. They're an animal that bluffs from the beginning, and they're one of those animals that people just swear they're going to get bit.
Yeah, but they're a sissy snake.
Yeah, they really are.
They mimic.
I've seen a
rattlesnakes.
squirrel kick the crap out of one of these things. You know, it's crazy.
They can make this really loud sound where they try to mimic the rattle of a rattlesnake, but it's coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, it's like a death rattle.
If you didn't see the animal, you'd think it's a real rattlesnake, and so they try to mimic that, and you could hear a real rattlesnake behind you now.
Now, part of that video, that viral video you might have seen of a gopher, a ground squirrel attacking a gopher snake.
No, that's a red squirrel in that video. That's the Sirius Niger, whatever.
Whatever the case may be, it's actually very illustrative to a lot of people that don't understand snakes. Is that snakes have essentially two modes. You know, that snake in that video that you see could easily grab that squirrel,
Constrict kill it,
no problem. But the snake doesn't have that intelligence. It doesn't have that crossover connectivity. It just has its defensive modes that it had evolved with. And so that squirrel had that next level as a mammal of like, wait a second, I can fuck this thing up. And a lot of reptiles don't have it. That's why, frankly, I really am somebody that considers reptiles innocents. They don't have a lot of these schemes or these plans that other animals are able to come up with to fight back or, go after their prey. They just either are defensive or offensive. There's no in between with most snakes. Most reptiles.
All right, guys, we're gonna show now. This isn't something I want anyone to like get excited about doing themselves, but we're gonna show a hot here.
Maybe you can already hear it. This is something really cool that we picked up very recently. We're really excited about. These do not make good pets, just so you know. We are going to use a hook and not our hands. And where is my backup? There's my backup with tongs. So we also have a set of tongs. Some things you can't see because I don't use my hands to open things. Can you point that down so you can see exactly how we do this? Now I'm going to hold the lid down with the tool, flip those off, and then what I'm going to do is I like to open the lid towards me with my tool if I can. Some of them don't work as well as others. That way I'm never putting my hand over that snake where it's in range. This is a very big one. You can't get it quite nice on the hook. So usually, if you let them crawl through a little bit, this is not my normal hook. There he is. He's not going to stay.
Now, Matt is somebody who's pretty patient with deadly animals.
You have to be patient to work with these. And I apologize if I don't look at the camera. I've got more important things to watch.
You mean?
So what we have here is it's an Atrox. This is a curlless Atrox.
Correct.
Yeah. This is right from Oklahoma.
It's right out of Oklahoma. This is a red phase.
Is this the one that's got some of the red genetics we were looking at?
He has a lot of the red genetics.
Okay.
He's a little fired up.
Now,
there we go. Now he's going to set nice. You can see the red belly on him. There.
You can see a bulge in there. He's got a mouse in his belly.
I hope he does. And you can kind of see that red coloration. I apologize. Our cameras are very good. We are going to work on that. We did have some technical difficulties. We didn't realize some of the things that went to get the streaming set up, so I apologize. We will show these again on a lot better camera. This is something we're trying to do because we're really excited about these. Probably need more so than the rest of these guys because, I don't know, this is kind of what really fits my bill. I love the big viper. I love the sound of that tail. These snakes are 100% American. I mean, they're in North America. They're in Mexico and places too, but rattlesnakes are pretty much a North American thing. And I think it's just so cool to have such a highly evolved animal. It's got a great hemotoxic venom, great for defense and hunting prey, not great.
Vince, are there any South American rattlesnakes?
there are a limited number.
Are they like micro rattlesnakes?
Yeah, you'll often hear the term neotropical bandied around as a general catch-all for some of the more. Mexican rattlesnakes have a big, beautiful, complex variety, but I don't follow the taxonomy of South American rattlesnakes too much.
It's an America thing, and predominantly with the big ones, North American. The Western Diamondback is one of my favorites, simply because this is the one that you saw in all the old Western cowboy movies, striking at the horse and the John Wayne. And these are the ones that are kind of been the most famous of all the rattlesnakes. You know, them and Easterns especially. But these guys, for me, take the cake. The Easterns do get a little bigger. They are known to have an attitude, as you just saw. He did strike off the hook.
They give live birth, so and the babies are born fully ready to envenomate.
You will not hear a baby rattle, though.
They only got one button.
But you need at least 2 buttons to make noise, because that's loosely formed, the same stuff that makes your fingernails. Loosely formed together, and as that muscles shake, which are faster than a hummingbird's wings, those are the fastest muscles in the animal kingdom. It causes that noise, which once you hear it, man, you always recognize them. It always gets my blood boiling and makes me excited. I get a smile on my face every time. I'm a little bit weird. But I just love these guys, so I wanted to show you one today.
Well, now, a general thing that you should know between Western and Eastern Diamondbacks is that generally these are considered slightly more toxic, although they don't get quite as robust. They can get almost as long. You hear a lot of stories, especially from down south via Georgia and Billy Bob's Chicken Wings, about how giant Easterns can get. Easterns are of a certain body type that Westerns don't have, that you do see throughout snakes. Your ball pythons, your Eastern diamondbacks, your blood pythons, your baboon vipers. Those are strains of snakes that do a very good job of sitting in one spot and not moving, and frankly just waiting for food to come to them. The Westerns have to be a little bit more proactive, and so they've got a little bit leaner body profile and a little bit more intense venom. And part of being in such a high deserty area, you see some animals that have extremely potent venoms, but nobody still really understands or fully understands the reasons for varying toxicity in snakes, especially crotalids.
Guys, if you want to call in, 785-317-3344. Please call in with questions.
Absolutely, that's what we're here for. And we're about to move on to a different animal, and you'll see more of these because I love these. Well, I do.
People do love them. I grew up in Southern California dealing with Mojave greens. Mojave greens, I believe, still at this point are the only neurotoxic crotolid known. There may be some others.
Actually, there are 4 venom patterns in timbers. One of them is neurotoxic.
Neurotoxic.
So, if you get down in you guys in Florida, if you get popped by a timber down there, you're probably going to have some neurotoxin on board. Up here in Kansas, it's going to be hemotoxin. There's a band in the middle where they cross. If you do some research, it's an B, an AB combo, and a C venom pattern in timbers.
There is some interesting work that I just looked at today from the Viper Keeper linked on Facebook about how they're identifying geographic variability in taxonomy. And what's interesting is how that affects venom toxicity.
One thing that's interesting also, you'll see Vince reach up there with his tool. The snake will not turn towards the tool. The reason for that is they have heat pits, so the snake can't sense that tool because it's at room temperature. So go ahead and reach up there, Vince, with that tool. See how the snake's not even turning towards it? It's facing me and the monitor of the screen. All right, it senses the heat. It's a sixth sense. They actually can see in infrared.
I'm going to come closer, see if they can see them. If you look, it's just usually about below the eyes. They can get some good light. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's a big hole in their face, and that's the pit where they have the heat sensing sensors at. Don't get your hand too close, Chris. The last thing I want to do is get anybody hurt today. And so if we can see that on the face, and rattlesnakes only have the one on each side, or like your pythons with a bunch of small ones. But they have this one big gaping hole, and that's the heat pit. And then they got the 2 nostrils. It's in between the nostrils and the eyes.
So let's talk about, and this is important, so people fully understand how serious we are about this. Let's talk about the most irresponsible thing we've done, drinking some beers before you saw us do this. We assure you, we promise you it was just 1 beer.
Actually, I haven't even finished mine, and I won't handle these. I keep one in my house, not the diamondback, but a different species that I can keep. And I have it posted on the cage even. If you open the second beer, you don't open the snake cage. It's just smart. These can hurt you, flat out. Let's show off another animal that can hurt you, and I'll go put this guy up.
Thankfully, this one probably wouldn't kill Ryan if Ryan was...
Yeah, this isn't going to kill you. It is said to be probably the most painful venomous bite ever. It sets you on fire. This is a female banded Gila Monster. So these all have paperwork. You can't have these, if you can't prove where they came from. They need to be born in captivity and the proper documentation maintained on these. But these are one of 2 venomous lizards, or directly venomous lizards. I think we're starting to see that some branids are producing venom and stuff. But these are directly venomous. They chew the venom. They have very primitive means of distributing that venom. They actually chew the venom into whatever they're biting. They have kind of grooved teeth, and they've got these venom glands. If you've ever seen these things' skulls, their skulls look exactly like their head does. It's pretty creepy. But these and the Mexican beaded lizards, Heloderma horridum and Heloderma spectrum.
Boy over here.
Here's a male banded, nice pink. These things are a diurnal lizard that feeds on helpless things. They rarely hunt. They may come down into a mouse den and eat all the pinky mice. But they also eat eggs, and other things they come across. And they have one of the lowest metabolisms of any reptile in the United States. They really can eat maybe twice a year and be fine.
Real slow moving.
Yeah, they're so slow and awkward. They would have a real hard time catching an adult rodent, that can run away. It's just not realistic. They can only eat things they can't run away from them.
These things have a weird area that they exist in. These things are found as far north as Nevada and Utah.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and they're one of the farthest northern records was, believe it or not, from my hometown in Payson, Arizona, where we get over 3 feet of snow regularly on the ground.
You're talking about altitude.
At altitude.
Yeah, no, they're found more north latitude than that, but their altitude, they're found up in the mountains too, where it's very severely cold. So,
and also just this year they determined through some camera technology that tegus can increase their body temperature during reproduction.
Yeah.
So does my body temperature during reproduction. Sorry if my family is watching this. I make a lot of penis and sex jokes, but it's not a live show, so we can do that.
Now that the most dangerous aspect of the show is over.
And what you guys didn't see is I was putting that rattlesnake back up. He struck at me no less than 4 times. He was bounced off the cage glass. Hi, I talk about reproducing. I wasn't talking about you, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, you know all about the birds and the bees.
He gets up in there, man.
This is Pyre.
He'll impregnate you with his nose.
He likes to smell everybody, and he's not shy about it.
Yeah, I think he smelled everyone that's coming here.
Hey, Matt, since you're live, why don't you face one of your fears?
You know what? These guys all suck. Let me tell you, if you guys watch my channel, you saw Colin stick a damn roach on me. That went live today. That video went up. And now Ryan is wanting to stick a damn spider on me. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm not really a bug guy. I can fake it till I make it, but
well, this is for being late on the video.
No, I wasn't late. Oh, no.
You produced it.
I am not the producer.
Now, everyone.
Oh, man.
This isn't a reptile. I know we're the reptile guys, but what is commonly associated with creepy crawlies is your arthropods. Yeah. And your tarantulas and insects, especially because a lot of reptiles feed on these. So that kind of associates them with them. And we all like to grow stuff to watch our reptile eat it. But along with that, we've got just maintaining arthropods.
And these guys are kind of cool.
It's got a weird little cult following.
Well, it's one of those things that I call a natural industry attachment. The simple fact of the matter is, if you have the personality to handle snakes, you probably have enough of the personality to sell tarantulas as well as snakes.
These actually don't bother me as much as the damn roaches do. Ever since I was a kid, I hated roaches. They creep me out. And in my day job, I go into a lot of houses that sometimes have roaches. I leaned on the wall a few weeks ago, and the whole thing came alive. And it took everything I had to keep my composure and not piss my pants and run out screaming like a little girl. So I don't like roaches.
We're starting to get over our time limit on this, so we're going to wrap it up. It's 9:03. I know we started a little late.
Oh, son of a bitch.
We started a little late, but we're going to be on time next week. And please feel free to, watch some of our back videos when we start to build them up.
And like I said, this YouTube live streaming thing is a beta thing, so I don't even know if there's a comment section in this. But go ahead and comment if there is, and tell us what you think. Yeah, we know we'll probably take some shots for
being late.
Well, not being late, but actually having the hot stuff and the beer in proximity. But
here's the thing. We're all trained.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 plus years.
I've had rattlesnakes for 36 hours. Not really. That is completely a joke. And Vince is telling the truth. We all opened a beer, so nobody's drunk. I just always sound like it. But thanks a ton for watching. We're gonna kind of.
This is us at Reptile Guys on YouTube.
Live from Manhattan Reptile
Live
World.
from Manhattan Reptile World.
If you think of a question, that number is good all the time, 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So don't
Oh my God.
call it.
Yes. 3
get-
o'clock in the
you'll
morning.
get the coach here.
785-317-3344.
He will save your questions and we'll answer them next week live on the Reptile.
Ask
feels
him
like
if he's wearing khaki pants. That'd be great.
That's what I do every day.